Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and peace be with you, brothers and sisters of humanity. Welcome to another video. This video is about a young woman who calls a sheikh and asks him about her father being sexually abusive to her. And this is how he answers her.
That my father abuses me physically, mentally, and sexually. I haven't told anyone, but now he does not do anything because he's out of the country. If you raise my voice, or if I raise my voice or tell my past to anyone, am I sinful? This is an issue that is difficult to address. Now, people would not understand this, especially nowadays with the Me Too movement, with the feminist movements, with so-called freedom of speech and democracy and the likes. Cultures differ. Now, Ariba says, my father did this and that. Can she prove it? The answer is no. So what would this be classified in Islamic fiqh? In a court of law. If I were to come in public and say, Ariba abused me, sexually harassed me, of course people would laugh, but I'm giving a claim. So what is the logical thing to do? The judge would come to me and say, prove it. If I have evidence, then that would be a proof. I can step forward and talk about it. If I can get Ariba to confess and say, yes, I'm pleading guilty, I did all of that, then I have a case. But if she says, no, I didn't do anything, then it's my word against hers. And coming forward and speaking would be plain slandering me. So if you go and talk about your father and claim that he sexually harassed you, do you have any proof? She says, yes, my elder sister and my younger sister, they were also harassed. And they'll come forward. Oh, okay, you've got a case. Yes, my mom saw him harass me when I was 7, 8 years of age. You have a case. But when you don't have any witnesses, how would I know that you are not mentally ill and making up these stories? I can't. I can't say that you're telling the truth or you're a blatant liar. Therefore, we cannot confirm what you're saying or denying it. If you come forward with such an allegation and you fail to prove that, that would be slandering, and it would be a huge sin against your father, let alone any other, against any other person, let alone your father. Which means that if someone slanders me or slanders Tom, Dick, or Harry without providing proof, he would be flogged 80 lashes. And this is only to protect the whole community. I sympathize with you. I don't believe what you're saying is true, and I don't say that it is not. But without the proper evidence, I would never ever dare and say a word against your father, who might be a righteous, practicing Muslim, totally unlike what you're saying. And this is where the dilemma is.
That is so ridiculous. You think a father is going to make witnesses knowing how egregious and horrific his actions are? It's not unheard of that siblings and relatives and even fathers can abuse their loved ones sexually. It seems as this young person, who's probably horrified when the father is around, has this window to say something while the father is gone. She was hoping to receive some guidance Why do we assume children and women lie? Like the first instinct is, oh, they're lying. Especially in many of our Islamic cultures. The first instinct is to protect the adult male. Not all adults, the adult male. How could she have witnesses? Like, what evidence are you looking for? It seems to me that she wanted to maybe talk to someone, maybe her mother, maybe an older sibling, maybe a teacher, someone. So what we're saying, the message we're sending is, unless you have what, pictures? Is that what we're looking for? A video, a camera? Even if it's a teenager. This is so insane. It's so unjust to put this much weight on a child who needs help. She has to tell someone, first and foremost, so that an investigation can take place. But God forbid, in case she is wrong, oh, I'm just going to fabricate some lies about my dad. Who does that? It's nearly impossible. No child would ever lie on their own. It happens sometimes, but that's if somebody is using the child, possibly. This person is asking for help directly. I'm going to read some of the comments to you. There's so much pain sometimes in our communities. Always protecting the adult male. A lot of people are mad about how the Sheikh responded. But there's also an entire debate that's taking place here. One person says, disgusting take. A'udhu billah. This is why some people don't talk about these issues. May Allah guide him. But then here's the responses that this person got. This person responds to the other person, bro, this is the law. You need witnesses to prove this. Another person responds to that person, yes, let's let somebody watch how my dad sexually abused me. I agree. So dumb. Another person, a child does not need a witness. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. That person who is asking for witness says, or siding with the Sheikh says, I am not defending him. I'm just speaking the Islamic law. You can get killed for this, so you need a witness. But they don't kill actually fathers for abusing their children. I don't think so. I've never heard of that. I know a father who killed his child, several cases where fathers killed their daughters, similar to honor killings. And forget about killing, they were not even sent to jail because there's something about, it's his own child. So he already lost a child, even though the father kills the child, daughter in this case. He can't go to jail for it at the same time because that would be like too much punishment for like losing a child and then going to jail. Although this person commits the crime, it's just, another person writes, he immediately just assumed she is lying and called the father a pious man. He has a bias and he doesn't even realize it. Yeah, it's automatic, siding with the men, always siding with the men. Another person responds, what small way of thinking? He never said she was lying. Talk to someone is the first thing you tell a child. Talk to someone who can help you. Maybe a family member. You don't just say, keep your mouth shut unless you have a concrete evidence. And then somebody responds, he literally said, I don't believe what you are saying is true. Another person responds, and you can't find evidence without trying. She needs to speak up first. Exactly. There's 1,759 comments. Another person says, eventually everyone gets their punishment, either in this dunya or the hereafter. That's ridiculous. Allah didn't say we should just wait till the hereafter. Somebody responds to this person. People in the comment sections seem to forget that. They think this life is it. So he's agreeing with this other person. So we should just let it be. People should just do whatever it is that they want to do, and we should just let Allah deal with it. Allah obviously will deal with it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us free will. Allah tells us to do something about haram actions in this dunya so that the fitna will not destroy you, destroy all of us. That's not the right way of going about it. It's ridiculous. Punishment in the hereafter is still no excuse, someone answers. To tell a little girl she should continue her suffering in the dunya. Yeah, I agree with you. Someone says, this sheikh is lost. A child's case is always different and more sensitive. I agree. Someone responded to that person, you are lost. He's speaking with logic, understanding, and rationality. If someone wants justice in this world, Islamic jurisprudence declares the, I don't know, it just cuts off. What are you talking about? So we're just going to pretend like this is not happening in our communities. And it's a complete split. The men on one side and the woman on the other. Exactly, this sheikh is wrong with his advice. He's absolutely not trained up for this type of vile behavior. Child sexual abuse is a very real threat. Yes, it is. Another person says, can't she prove it? No. The exact reason why we stay quiet in the first place. Yeah, that's... Yeah, because it's hard to prove, especially if it's your own father, the person who is supposed to love you, protect you, cherish you, you know, subhanallah. Someone says, as much as it sucks to say, Islamically, you aren't allowed to accuse someone for anything without any proof. That is wild. That's why there's so much abuse in our communities. There's so much pain because we never talk about it. You're not... This is... Where does it say that in the Quran? That you're not allowed to accuse someone without a proof, or you must always have a proof. I know it's in fiqh books and what have you, but those are written by men. And I can't help but to think that it always protects men and the interests of men. And if you dare to say something about this, if you notice the injustice in this, oh, you are saying something negative about your religion. No, I am saying something is not quite right in the way some of these men have come up with these conclusions that are just always to protect the men. We should be protecting everybody, especially our most vulnerable, our children, the women. We're always protecting the most powerful. knowing that it's often men who commit these offenses. Why are we acting like it's not even possible? Subhanallah, this is ridiculous. Another one says, there is a severe punishment waiting for them in the hereafter. I have a serious problem with that. So all these women or kids who get abused, rape, and more will get their justice. It's such a dumb thing to say. Yes, inshallah, of course they'll get their punishment. But we can't just let these disgusting actions continue. It will destroy the ummah if we just keep allowing this nonsense. Like, can you imagine the incest? The pain? It's so disgusting. No, this is negative thinking. You are basically asking a victim to keep living with her abuser because she has no evidence. Yeah, it's so painful. Allah asks us, another person responds, Allah asks us to keep ourselves safe and appreciate ourselves. And the moment the father started to abuse her, he is no longer a guardian. He is not. If she truly fears for her life, she can move out. What? That is the dumbest thing. How is she going to move out? She's probably a young person, and in many of our Muslim families, a teenager or someone even a little bit older cannot just, especially a daughter, cannot just move out. What is he talking about? But she can't claim he had abused her and expect that a single testimony alone. Nobody. Oh, they see, he's such a full of shit. People like that, people like this guy, I feel like they're doing something wrong themselves. And so it's the guilt that's eating them alive. So they go online and attack people and try to bully people to submission and to silence. Someone else says, any child in that situation should come forward regardless of whether they can prove it or not. The state should use its resources to investigate. Let's see the response this person's getting. No, need evidence. That's somebody else saying that. Some anti-oppression. You're more like for oppression. He says, no, you need evidence. Courts need evidence. You can't slander someone's name without evidence, i.e. medical, etc. But it's very sad and serious. No, in these countries, there are ways to prove if a child is being sexually molested or not. There doesn't need to be a video or a confession. It can be proven. Somebody responds to that person. What evidence, if that is the case? We have a lot of people who are going to get away with it. Yeah, I agree. That's what investigation is for. Yeah, exactly. But I feel like a lot of men don't even want to go there. These people who are saying, no, you can't say anything to anybody unless you have a concrete evidence. They're acting like, oh, well, the minute a woman says something or a child says something, the adult man is just going to be picked up and will be taken to Alcatraz for life. That's not what happens. And I think it's very, very, very shameful that the people we were supposed to look up to for guidance, the people who are supposed to be preaching the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, are talking like this, making us feel as, like as if women and children's words are not to be taken seriously, as if we, imagine these things. We're not the ones who are supposed to be carrying the burden. Our men, Allah said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, الرجال قوامون على النساء. Our men are the ones who are supposed to protect us. And if they're not protecting us and taking advantage of us, then we have every right to speak up. We shouldn't be the ones that are being abused, and on top of that, carry the burden of, unless you have an actual video, a concrete evidence. If you don't have that, then shut your mouth. I think it's the very wrong message to send to our children and to the victims of sexual abuse, which are many, just like any other communities. Just like any other communities. We are behaving like the Catholic Church that have been abusing children for so long. That's how they got away with what they've been getting away with for so long. And the same thing happens in our communities. Because human beings are vile, regardless of their religion. It's very sad. Thank you so much for watching.